Alright, so once we've done commented the different dimensions that BIM includes, let's make a small comparison between the traditional methodology versus BIM. Now, if you are working with software such as AutoCAD or working with other types of CAD software, usually the decisions are made once the construction plans are completed. But with BIM, since all the BIM elements are related and are linked all together, if you make some type of change, it will be reflected in pretty much all the documentation, all the analysis, all the quantifications, and also it has even more flexibility in general. So you can also make decisions at any stage of the design process. Now keep in mind that in BIM we also gonna work with specific elements, because software such as Revit, such as ArchiCad, will always demand that you specify a lot of different parameters. And if you don't even specify the parameters, usually ArchiCad, Revit, all the predefined parameters that come by default will also specify everything to its last detail. And in the traditional manner, usually you work with generic elements, but it will mainly depend you. So BIM will always try to assist you in specifying as much information as required. Besides this, there's also flexibility with the budget, with the quantifications, because if you are modeling something within Revit or ArchiCAD, there are many different options that will allow you to create different quantifications in a matter of seconds. So this is quite an amazing advantage that we get with BIM. At the same time you're already modeling the project, you can generate a quantification in any stage of the design or throughout the design. The difference with traditional CAD, usually this process takes place once the plans are finished, but once again you have to create manually your quantifications. And this might be the most important advantage of working with BIM. If you generate your BIM model exactly with quality, with clean unions, with a lot of quality in general for the model, all the related information such as documentation, the reports, the work program, the budgets will also be precise. So in general, one of the clear advantages that BIM will offer is a reduction of different errors, different problems that might impact the construction process, the budget, and many other aspects that take place for your workflow. Because in the traditional CAD workflow, we constantly can notice that there are many different errors, but this will depend on the draftsman, and usually BIM will help us a lot on detecting the different errors present on the design and the project in general. And lastly but not least, software such as ArchiCAD and Revit will integrate the ability to work on the same model all together at the same time. So you can pretty much create a server, position it and configure it on a dedicated computer. Everyone on your team can connect to that server and work on the project at the same time and share it with whoever wants to collaborate on the BIM model. So this is quite an amazing advantage that we get also with BIM, the ability to work on a same project and facilitate the processes with a dedicated server. This might be, let's be honest, this is a little bit idealized, but I'm going to share with you a negative experience that I had in an architectural film where everybody worked with 2D, with CAD software. Usually somebody made a change and maybe that someone shared it with one person, with two person, but the rest of the team had no clue which type of change was done, and this generated a lot of problems within the coordination of the information. Now, what I just commented with the use of BIM and the use of the server is that it will also benefit the coordination of the general information, structural information, architectural information, facility information. Pretty much all the team can access the BIM model all together, review it. If the architect makes a change, the engineer will note this, the builder will also take it in consideration, and pretty much the idea here is to coordinate all the different specialties of the project all together to reduce all types of errors, problems, and optimize in general the coordination of the project. So having commented the basics aspects of BIM, now in the next lesson we're gonna continue explaining general aspects of the implementation of BIM.